Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Listening to Radio Seerah 1575 AM, also streaming live on www.radioseerah.com. You can download our free apps which are available from Apple or Android store to listen with. You can purchase a radio from us, which will cost around £10, and you can listen to Radio Seerah wherever you just plug in the adapter or cable, and you can inshallah ta'ala enjoy all the programs happening on Radio Seerah. If you want to buy, please give us a call or text in on 07305828531. That's 07305828531. Alhamdulillah, as we are approaching the month of Ramadan, let us speak a little bit, inshallah, in regards to this blessed month. Like, subhanAllah, we prepare for other things of this dunya, of the world. Let us all try to prepare ourselves for the akhirah, inshallah ta'ala, for this month, blessed month of Ramadan. Let us see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you and me in the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O believers, fasting has been made obligatory, meaning compulsory on you as it was made obligatory on those before you, so that you may become pious through the blessing of fasting. We need to understand, we need to know that there is no other fast, which is fard, than the fasting of the month of Ramadan. That's really important to note down, that there is no other fasting besides the month of Ramadan which is compulsory upon us. So yes, sunnah, nafl in its place, fard only in the month of Ramadan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you and me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this fard upon us. And why has He made it fard? That you gain closeness, you gain piety, you gain taqwa, God consciousness with this fasting. And it often happens, that during the month of Ramadan, yes, let alone the shayateen being locked up, the doors of Jannah fully open, the doors of Jahannam fully closed. There's a lot of khair, barakah that descends in the month of Ramadan, and due to that, we're able to do so much of good. We feel like wake up for tahajjud, we feel like, increasing ourselves in doing good, in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tilawat of the Quran, going to the masjid, whereas outside the month of Ramadan, we feel lazy, we don't feel like going. But during the month of Ramadan, the condition of each person is different. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you that is a good sign. There's a good sign. Because, the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the fasting compulsory upon us is not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to deprive us from food, eating and drinking throughout the day and doing those things which we used to do previously. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to fear Him and know and understand that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us, every time, every movement of ours. So a person, for example, during the month of Ramadan, he wants to do a sin, he'll think to himself, no, I am fasting. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. He remember that, he's fasting, that he can't say anything wrong, he can't swear at someone, he can't do ghibah about someone, he can't do those things which he has done previously. And due to that, if this goes well for him during the month of Ramadan, who knows, Allah, that could be a changer for him outside the month of Ramadan. So we're looking at لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. How can we bring this God consciousness or the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala up to the level that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants? And this can easily be done in the month of Ramadan, brothers and sisters. This can easily be done in the month of Ramadan, because when a person he's feeling hungry, he's feeling thirsty, subhanallah, he wakes up for breakfast in the morning, he knows that I can't eat anything. He wants to go and get, fry egg. He wants to, toast. He wants to have a toast. He knows that he can't have it. He wants a cup of tea. Whereas every day outside the month of Ramadan, it was a norm for him to have a cup of tea. And without that, his day never used to start. So now, subhanAllah, this person thinks to himself that I can't have tea because, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me. So everything that a person does while he's fasting, and also the fast itself, is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why in another in hadith according to my understanding, hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that He gives the reward Himself for the fasting person. Whereas the other rewards that we get for other actions, the angels or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends it through different means. But subhanAllah, fasting itself is going to be a tremendous reward for us in the hereafter. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning to the believers, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam, that we have made farad upon you, compulsory upon you to fast, whether you like it or not. Certain circumstances, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a leeway, but it is very important that we fast because we cannot compensate the fasting of Ramadan outside the month of Ramadan. One fast a person miss without any reason, valid excuse, this person will never be able to fulfill it, right? Or due that, and the merit that a person gets due to fasting of the month of Ramadan, just one fast, you will not be able to you will not be able to get that reward. You'll be deprived of it outside the month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning Kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. This fasting which has been made compulsory upon this nation, upon this ummah, it was there previously as well, but in different forms, different ways. At that time they were not able to talk. That was one fasting, and also eating and drinking throughout the day was another fast as well for one nation, some of the nations. So it was all different. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it more of us getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during this blessed month of Ramadan. So if these things, are quiet, one is taqwa, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. Then, subhanallah, a person's level of iman after the month of Ramadan, inshallah, will stay the same as well. It could go up and down because, as you know, shayateens are locked up during the month of Ramadan. But, outside the month of Ramadan becomes very, very difficult. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell you and me in another ayah that, which is reference to Qurbani, that لَن يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُهُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. That neither their meat nor their blood reaches Allah. Rather, what reaches Allah? It is a piety, subhanAllah, piety of your hearts that reaches Him. So, just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said with regards to Qurbani, the same can be understood with regards to fasting as well. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made fasting compulsory so that man's desires may be broken. The heat of the kernel self be extinguished. His nafs ammara may be converted into nafs mutma'inna. A man may acquire rectitude and piety within him. However, if this benefit has not been realized, and then he has acquired nothing but hunger and thirst, and since this hunger and thirst is against the actual intention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you're yourself responsible for the surprise which you're experiencing. Meaning, the hunger and thirst is of no use because you did not follow the teachings of Allah and the Prophet sallallahu while fasting. So had you carried out the order of the Sharia, while observing its limits and prerequisites, meaning whatever was necessary, you would have certainly enjoyed the fruits. So it's up to you, how you keep the fast. Are you keeping it to gain that taqwa, or are you just keeping it because you feel like your others are keeping it? So I constantly say to you, this is my complaint to you, that the general condition today is that even the actions which people do, they do not fulfill the reality, the etiquettes and prerequisites of those actions. What then can be said of the actions which they do not carry out? They will carry out an action, bear difficulties in carrying it out, and then feel that they have served the responsibility, meaning they've been removed or relieved from the responsibility. However, on the day of resurrection, they will realize that it was not accepted in Allah's courts, and that whatever hardships they had borne, for it went to waste. Fasting is one of those actions. Those who do not fast in the first place do it because they, due to the kernel self and ignorance, have no knowledge of its importance and virtue. And as for those who fast, there are many among them regarding whom Rasulullah ﷺ said that many a fasting person gains nothing from his fast except thirst. Many a person engaged in night worship gains nothing from it except sleeplessness. This too is a sad, terrible situation and a major loss. It is essential for us to save ourselves from it. So now, a person who does not give up lies and acting upon them while in a state of fasting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need for him to abstain from fasting and drinking. So this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the need for food and drink. So if the person abstains from both the food and drink, then of course he's acting upon the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is an order for him to do, that do not fast. But whereas in other sense, if he doesn't follow the rules and regulations of fasting, then it's of no use, because he hasn't followed the ways of Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, and he has not gained any reward. Of course, his fast is going to be there, it will be done from his side. Responsibility will be, uplifted, but he will not be able to get the reward of it. So in the same way, a person, there's a sin of backbiting, slandering, all these kind of actions a person does, speaking lies, of complaining, moaning and groaning, accusing someone, and using vulgar and abusive language. That, of course, the fast, the reward of fast will not be gained. The reward of fast will not attain because of all this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the true understanding. And another important point is that we need to, another hadith says, lists 5 things which breaks the fast and wudu. They're speaking lies. So the present hadith only mentions qawl az-zur. Another hadith lists 5 things which breaks the fast and wudu. They are speaking lies, backbiting, carrying tales, casting evil glances, taking false or oaths. From this mention, since some of them are serious and severe, for example, backbiting, especially while one is fasting. Hadith says that a person who engages in backbiting in the course of the day has in fact broken his fast. Another hadith is quoted in the notes of Al-Hidayah. Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam passed by 2 persons. One of them was cupping the other. In the course of the cupping, one was backbiting about someone, and the second person did not stop or prevent him. On saying this, Rasulullah ﷺ said that the cupper and the one who is being cupped have both broken their fast. As Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the narrator of this hadith, says that when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that they have broken their fast, it was not because of the act of cupping, but because of backbiting and listening to it. Look at some of the, problems that a person gets with the backbiting and listening to backbiting, as goes from the hadith that first broke the account of it, as Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala who have heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he cannot issue a ruling on the basis of his own opinion. This is supported by another narration related by Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that 2 fasting people performed the Dhuhr or Asr Salah. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam completed his Salah, he turned to them and said, repeat your wudu and Salah, but complete your fast. In other words, do not eat or drink until, meaning sunset. However, you may keep qada of this fast tomorrow. In other words, the fast of yours has been invalidated, meaning it is obligatory on you to keep qada of it. The 2 said, "O Rasulullah, what is the reason for this?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "Because you are backbiting such and such person." So some commentators of this hadith write, although the ulama say that this incident was as a way of castigating and reprimanding them, meaning the fast according to the Sharia has not been invalidated. They concur in the backbiting reduces the reward of wudu and salah. As Sufyan Thawri rahimahullah, acting on apparent and outward meaning of this hadith, says that backbiting is actually an invalidator of a fast. No matter what the point, which is clear from this hadith, is that there is a distinct contradiction between fasting and these sins. In other words, these sins cannot be combined with fasting. This is especially with regards to backbiting. It's it's a great sin, and how abhorrent it is as well in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are a few things which we mentioned about fast. Inshallah ta'ala will continue throughout the week in regards to more important things that we can do and leave during the month of Ramadan, and also gaining the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the most important thing to do in this month of Ramadan. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first of all give me the ability to fulfill the rights of Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever he has told us, we need to try to follow, inshallah. So stay tuned and continue staying. There'll be more programs, there'll be more talks, bayans, inshallah ta'ala. Also Ramadan coming up, so do not forget that yes, Ramadan broadcasts will continue inshallah ta'ala on Radio Seerah 1575 AM. We'll put up the schedule on our website very, very soon, by end of this week or beginning of next week, just before the month of Ramadan, so you get an idea of what's happening on Radio Seerah during the day. And if you got any suggestions, any feedback, please text it to us on 07305 828531, 07305 or email to us radioseerah@hotmail.com, radioadmin@radioseerah.com. So Jazakallah for listening to this program. I hope it's of benefit to all the listeners and to myself as well. Jazakallah. I will see you another time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi